Welcome back, it's a Wicked One. We're going to do some altar draws today. We currently have an event going on for 70 altar draws. So we're going to do it. And today, we finally got some new units released. The Elementals. Ice Storm Elemental, Ice Elemental, Spirit, Sprite, Earth Elemental, Physic Elemental, and Fire Elemental. We'll start with our golden keys. Ooh, we got Iron Golem. Not too bad. We got the Spirit, or Sprite. New unit, that's pretty awesome. Green Dragon and Pit Fiend, good. With the Storm Elemental and Demon. Dwarf, Ogre, didn't get what we wanted, but good enough. Going for the Fire Elemental. We never got that. We're going to do an overview of the new units. We got a couple conflux units that were released today. We have the Ice Elemental, Earth Elemental, the Physic Elemental, and the Fire Elemental. As well as the Spirit and the Storm Elemental. We'll start with the Storm Elemental. It's got static marker. So on battle start, he applies static to all friendly units in his path. Not sure what static does just yet. Down here it says vacuum decreases hero's magic resistance by 20%. I wonder if that's all supposed to be all enemy units in his path. Second skill. The Storm Elemental's normal attack has a 6% chance of casting lightning at the target, causing 300% damage. That sounds pretty awesome. And there's Elemental Force. When Storm Elemental is on the battlefield, it increases damage reduction of air spells for all friendly units by 7.5%, and reduces damage reduction for air spells of all enemy units by 5%. When Storm Elemental is on the battlefield, increase friendly heroes' initial mana by 10%. This could be a very good buff for caster builds. Then we have Static Pierce. Storm Elemental's unit damage reductions increased by 10%. This effect is double to the target suffering from static. This is what I don't understand. It sounds like static is a debuff. You apply static to all friendly units in his path. And then the conflux unit, faction special skill, which will apply to all of them. Conflux units are proficient arcane and conflux magic, and increase heroes' magic resistance by 18%. That sounds awesome. And then there's conflux units are proficient at dealing conflux damage. When fighting against non-conflux units, their damage increased by 6%. This could be amazing for these units. This is almost an increase of base damage against all units except for conflux, which I believe there's only one conflux tank. And this is amazing for just defensive magic resistance. The next one we have is Spirit. Or Sprite. Tell me in the comments what you guys think it is. When a sprite is down, dealing damage equal to 3% of the target's max HP, the max damage amount's 100%, or 1000% of its attack. When he's downed. Considered a cav troop. What's the base damage at level 1 with no upgrades? Decent amount of attack. This could be pretty decent at higher levels. What would level 4 be? Only 3.8%. Goes up by 0.2% every level. That doesn't sound too awesome. So 15. So 6% is the max. That's not great. Its second skill. When the battle starts, the Spirit unit increases all friendly units' magic resistance by 3%. This effect also doubles for the Spirit unit. That could be pretty good. Not amazing, but a passive buff. When Spirit units are on the battlefield, it increases friendly heroes' base mana by 1.7. This is where we're talking some combinations. You make some seriously good caster builds with these new conflux units. The Spirit is down, silences the target unit for 2 seconds. That's not too great. Unless you used it to kill like Vampire Black Knight, but now we have Ice Elemental. Controlling Mage. It coats everything in ice, supporting Ice Wall. I think this one can freeze people, yeah. That's awesome. Ice Elemental unit builds an icy wall in front of the target. The target along a horizontal row within a large range for 5 seconds. And it freezes them. That's pretty awesome. Now we have Cold Grip. Ice Elemental's normal attack has a chance to slow the target for 15 seconds. That's a long time for a slow. In addition, decrease attack speed of the target by 3% for 10 seconds. Up to 5 stacks. It's up to 5 stacks. You could really use this as a good support. With these Ice Wall as being a good CC, and then you have this slow. It also would be a good CC. When Ice Elemental unit is on the battlefield, it increases damage reduction of water spells. Roll from the units by 7.5% and reduces the damage reduction of water spells for all enemy units by 5%. When Ice Elemental is on the battlefield, it increases its friendly hero's mana regen by 0.2%. This one doesn't seem like a great buff, except for the water spells, but there's not that great of water spells out there. And this mana regen is not enough to do much. If it was 0.2 instead of 0.2%, then it would be worth something, but 0.2% is too little to mean much. And we have Breeze. Ice Elemental hostile units within a large range along the back row for 3 seconds. Okay, there's a missing word there. Ice Elemental freezes hostile units within a large range along the back row for 3 seconds every 20 seconds. So I believe it makes this more often. Yeah, this could be an awesome support. And now we have the Earth Elemental. Stuns everyone within range, deadly split, high toughness. I like the sound of that. For the Earth Elemental, the first skill, an Earth Elemental is split into 2 smaller Earth Elementals after it dies. The smaller Earth Elemental has 200 attack and 10,000 HP and exists throughout the entire battle. This doesn't sound very good. This doubles the amount of targets, so it splits their damage, so it could definitely hold off a unit for a while. And I assume they're considered tank units also, so they would be focused before the other units. Now the second skill, Rock Solid. Earth Elemental's unit damage reduction increased by 10%. That effect doubles when Earth Elemental takes unit damage from ranged units. That's a good passive for a tank. A lot of the ranged units can burst down the tanks pretty quick, like Orc and the Wood Elf. Elemental Force, the third skill. When Earth Elemental is on the battlefield, it increases magic resistance of Earth spells for all friendly units by 7.5%, and reduces magic resistance of Earth spells for all enemy units by 5%. When Earth Elemental unit is on the battlefield, reduce enemy hero's initial mana by 10. That is an awesome skill. Earth spells aren't great to deal damage. There's the Quicksand, I believe it's called. That one's pretty decent, the damage over time, but other than that, they're not very deadly. But this reduce enemy hero's initial mana from a tank, that's awesome. That'll help counter the quick burst casters. So this one might be a must-need later in the game. When Earth Elemental and smaller Earth Elementals are killed, they deal 40% damage to hostile units within a large range and stun them for 1 second. That's not bad. Increases damage and the stun time. That could be very good. So you'd have the first Earth Elemental when it dies. It would guarantee the targets would attack the next Earth Elementals, because there would be no lag there. Normally when there's a unit that summons after death, it summons like half a second after the unit dies, and the units end up going after another unit. So this would guarantee that all the melee units there be forced to attack the tank. And it's some extra damage, so that's always good. Now the Physic Elemental. Ranged damage reduces enemy mana on death or attacker. So I'm guessing this is going to be a high damage unit. It's a melee unit. Physic Elemental are immune to silence. Each Physic Elemental attacks 3 hostile units with the targeted unit every 4 seconds, causing damage equal to 60% of its attack. This is a very good skill. This 60% will go higher, and is guaranteed every 4 seconds. This will definitely help kill the more numbered tanks that are 3 to 9 units. The 1 unit tanks will take normal damage, but this one will definitely kill the other tanks pretty quick, so it'll help versus Imp a lot, which Imp has to revive, but this will help definitely counter that by dealing just some extra AoE damage to those targets, and it will also deal with the Swordsman very quickly. So that sounds like a good unit so far. Second skill, Earth. Physic Elemental's unit's damage increases by 5%. The Physic Elemental's Energy Blast has a 30% chance to stun the target for 3 seconds. Okay. So increases damage by 5%, which will go up, I'm guessing, by 0.5% per level or 1% per level. So that could be, we'll give it an estimate of 10 to 15%. It'll increase the damage Physic Elemental. And the Energy Blast has a 30% chance to stun the target for 3 seconds. That's this skill. So it's already doing AoE damage. Give it a 30% chance, that's almost guaranteed that one of them will get stunned. It'll help lower the damage on you. And then I'm wondering if this Energy Blast will still work on the 1 unit targets, so they can get the stun. Next skill is Fire. Physic Elemental's unit damage reduction increased by 5%. So this increases unit damage reduction. Pretty good for a melee. It's not the best, but it's good. I'd like a little more HP, because this 5% isn't much to do anything with Bone Dragon being out there to lower all damage reduction for the enemy with its last skill. But Physic Elemental's Energy Blast has a 30% chance to burn the target for 6 seconds. So this adds a burn to it. So this is where you can get some of the synergies. You got a unit that can stun and burn the target. And then you have other units that deal bonus damage to burning units, which we'll see how that goes, but that sounds like that could be pretty awesome. And then the last skill, Lord of Element. Physic Elemental's magic resistance is increased by 6%, and its unit's damage increased by 7%. Whenever a Physic Elemental dies, reduce enemy hero's mana by 20. That's pretty good. 20 is a decent amount. That's a small spell take out of the roster of the enemy, or half of a large spell. That would definitely slow down like Luna. I'm just trying to spam Firewall on here, so that will help counter Luna pretty good. Increase in magic resistance, which is good versus spells, and then its unit's damage is also increased. So this will be very interesting to see if you can get this unit to do some really serious damage with increasing the unit damage and the attack. Well, this is also unit damage, not attack. So this is an additive bonus. That'll be decent. It won't be as good if it was multiplicative, if it was a damage and attack. That sounds promising. And then we have Fire Elemental, the one that I really want. Probably goes the best in my roster. It provides burn, blows up the whole field, enhances when killing enemies. That's pretty good. Sounds like it's similar to the Archmage. For the first skill of the Fire Elemental, Fire Elemental unit deals 8,289 damage to one hostile unit and burns it for 15 seconds. This sounds like it'd be very promising, because this 15 seconds is a long time for a burn, and it's not dealing terrible damage for being not leveled at all. So this is the stats of a level 1 green, or level 1 white unit with a level 1 skill. So this could be pretty good, this skill as well. In the second skill, Blast, the Fire Elemental deals 1,382 damage to all hostile units and burns them for 15 seconds after dying. Okay. So that means this unit can counter the summon heroes very well. It'll probably end up scaling enough to almost one-shot all the skeletons from the Necromancer hero, and it burns them. So this adds more burning. That's awesome. Why not? The third skill, Elemental Force. When Fire Elemental unit is on the battlefield, it increases magic resistance to fire spells for all friendly units by 7.5% and reduces magic resistance to fire spells for all enemy units by 5%. When Fire Elemental is on the battlefield, reduce enemy heroes' mana regen by 0.2%. Like I said before, that 0.2% isn't enough to make much of a difference, but the increased fire damage could be good with some fire builds. It might not be the best for Luna, because Luna's basically focused around her one skill, the Firewall, which does 10% of max HP for every tick every 0.5 seconds, but for the other fire hero it's pretty good. Rashka. And Fire Elemental's last skill, Fire Energy Conductor. Fire Elemental restores 5% max HP whenever it kills a hostile unit and increases its attack by 7.5%. We're showing the entire battle up to 3 stacks. That's a little bit of healing, it's not going to make much of a difference. The attack with 3 stacks, so at level 1, this is 22.5%. That could be promising. End up getting that up to 3 stacks for 50% damage. This unit would be amazing. Plus applying burns, you get some serious damage out of this character. And we're going to go over the new hero also.
To spread fire,
Manir. We're going to start with his specialties. Physic Elemental upgrades to Magic Elemental. Energy Blast 9 deals 20% more damage. More damage, that's pretty awesome. It's not a serious amount, but it could be very interesting. Especially if this upgraded unit is a lot stronger than the regular Physic Elemental. Second skill, the life drain of Physical Elemental's magic. The life drain of Physical Elemental increases by 20%. This could be pretty good, just more life drain. And the third skill, for every magic or offensive unit on the battlefield, unit damage and unit damage reduction of magic elementals both increase by 3%. That's just a buff to this one unit. That's interesting, but doesn't seem like it's enough to really do much. Magic or offensive units. You might run 2 magic units and maybe 2 offensive units if you're focusing around it, but running any more is going to leave you pretty vulnerable to other characters. That's not a great skill. It'll be a little extra, which that's good. You're going to get the automatic 3% for running this unit, but on top of that, you might get a little bit more bonuses. And the last skill, magic elementals are immune to all damage when they are in magic domain or mystic domain. If you're immune, that could be pretty awesome, especially with this being a caster hero. You have an immune unit, you could definitely start countering some of the other casters. And the first skill of Manir, Mystic Domain. Creates a Mystic Domain in the target area, dealing 1,596 Earth spell damage to enemy units within a very large range, or very high range, and inflicting silence on enemy units within range for 8.2 seconds. That sounds, it could be very good. The silence be very needed in some situations, especially against like Black Knight. And I wonder if it also works against the Earth Elemental. If you silence him, if it would counter his skill completely. So if that happens, then that'd make this hero almost needed for some battles. Not great damage, long cooldown, low energy or mana cost though, so that's pretty awesome. Frozen Arrow. Deals 1,467 water spell damage to enemy units within a certain range and slows them for 8 seconds. That slow is very useful. You have some units that get bonus damage against slow. There's a couple units that get double damage against slow targets, so this could be used in certain situations to increase your damage output, which would be good, and it deals decent damage. It's not amazing for being a 15 mana or 18 mana cost spell in 15 seconds. That's pretty low. Then you have Lightning Bolt. It has deal 2,642 air damage to all enemy units in the AoE. I know from experience this spell is amazing. This Solmir over here has the same spell, and it's his second hardest hitting spell. If you have a 4-star Solmir, it's the hardest hitting spell if you don't have a 4-star. So this spell is awesome. 22-second cooldown, decently high. It's not super low, it's not super high. About average. The mana cost is a little on the upper side, being almost 40. But it's pretty balanced for being how strong this spell actually is. And then we have Fireball. Summons continuous fireballs in the target area, dealing fire spell damage 6 times, add up to 2,964 to enemy units within range, and burns them in the last 8 seconds. This is by far the strongest spell Manir has, but it does have a 37-second cooldown and costs 47 mana. So that's on the high side for both ends. But this is definitely a spell you'd use to nuke down enemy monk or other 9-unit count units. So this could be a very interesting hero to see, especially with seeing how the Physic elementals are with this hero. How the upgrade is, if it's 20% total buff to stats, that's good. It's not amazing, but the unit's already good, so it's good to have a little extra for the unit. But if it's up to like 50%, that unit could end up stomping other players, especially with it being able to get an immunity and a silence where you put this down with the extra damage, so it would start limiting the focus of the target by killing all the summoned units like the Dryads and Skeletons from the Necromancer hero. So this could be very interesting to see. We don't have any ways to get this hero yet. Accumulated logins to receive. Let's go to sign in. Still can't get it. Maybe next month. Full set of purple quality artifacts for less. That's pretty awesome. What about the events? Nothing? Okay. Well, there you have it. There's the unit breakdown for all the new units and the new hero breakdown. Hope to see you guys later. Catch ya.